Hello everyone, welcome to GS Core. So this session is about our answer writing activity, which we call as one day one answer. We at GS Core have been carrying out the answer writing activity for quite many years now. And this year we decided to elevate it a level further in the sense that not only any random answers, but answers covering various themes which are asked in the mains examination. The themes are important for the reason that the questions may change, but the themes given by the syllabus remain the same. It is just that the context gets tinkered with, but the substance remains the same. So, through these sessions, we are going to embark on an actionable activity, wherein it is not just random answer writing, rather a methodical approach, wherein through this activity we are going to cover themes, and themes not just from the perspective of giving information, but the ultimate outcome. This ultimate outcome that I am talking about is nothing but the final answer that you write. It is ultimately about expression or articulation. How well you can articulate yourself and satisfy the demand of the question. So there might be a lot of information which you as candidates gather as part of your preparation, but are you able to use that information effectively to fetch the marks? That's the big question. So our focus will be on the outcome, and through outcome we are going to reverse trace the essential components to deal with the theme, and through this we are going to actually build our expression skill, and more importantly we are going to build concepts. Right? So in today's activity, we are going to actually deal with the subject of governance and social justice. Which is part of general studies too. So often I have seen many of you come to me that, we do not get good marks in GS2. That is because the candidate is not able to make a decent appreciation of the themes. That is primarily the reason. We never approach things with a thematic view. We take them in isolated silos, never interlink stuff. And that is where the problem is. So what I am going to do is I am going to take up a previous year's question, and I am going to tell you about that theme. Then based on that theme only, you will have a question which is in the pinned comment that you have to attempt and share with me. How you can share? You will find the details in the description. We are going to discuss the same question today evening at 7 p.m. on the Telegram group. The link for the same will be there in the description as well. GS Course official mains answer writing Telegram group. And we are going to discuss that question threadbare, discuss your queries, discuss your concerns. Right? Also, in the I button, you will find many such exercises, right? While in I button you will have videos of exercises which have already been done. At least you can learn from them, and it would be beneficial for all of you to continue with us on daily basis for these exercises. Remember, the exercises are carried out Monday to Friday every day, and through these exercises we are going to cover the entire GS portion, right? So let's get to the question very quickly that we have for today. So if you look at this particular question, I'll read the question for you. Development and welfare schemes for the vulnerable. So it is not just any scheme. Through the question we have to define the scope. Not any scheme but for vulnerable. By its nature are discriminatory in approach. Do you agree? Give reasons for your answer. So it's an analytical question. Many of you would come to me and ask, sir, what should we study? Which all schemes should we study for the GS paper 2? But if you will see that the schemes which are there, they might not all come in, but a conceptual question, a thought-provoking, analytical question can come in the examination, right? So we need to be prepared for this. Now, immediately, if I have read the syllabus, I should know that whatever I am dealing with, what is it that I am dealing with? You will see, generally I am giving you a roadmap of this. The various themes which are covered under these programs and policies for development. Development itself, gender, right? Environment, technology, environment or climate change, industry, agriculture, culture, right? Disabilities, social issues. So I cannot prepare every scheme under the sun, but I can prepare these issues. Often, what will come in handy? If I talk about what all things will come in handy, what can I base my answers upon? History, evolution, evaluation, need. What are the salient features? What is the delivery mechanism? Is it a DBT? Is it a subscription based scheme? Okay. Various targets of the scheme. Phases. Okay. What information will come in handy when I actually go about all this? Various rankings, because I will have to substantiate by somewhat data, facts, figures, analysis. So various rankings which are there, surveys which are there. Okay. Indices. Along with it, if I see, every scheme will have its issues, challenges, solutions, right? Who are the beneficiaries? What is imparted in this scheme? Okay. So this is going to be the broad content part, that with this lens I have to focus it. Next, when we talk about the conceptual understanding and analysis, that we need to build in this particular situation, we have to look at certain things. For example, funding. What is the source? Is it adequate, ethical, legal or not? I will have to also examine the issues of availability, accessibility, affordability, awareness, viability, sustainability. What is the target group? Is there an inclusion or an element of exclusion? So in question like this, is it a discriminatory approach? Do you agree? Yes and no. If it is discriminatory, what can be beneficial? Because there can be an element of exclusion. So the beneficiary would be a targeted approach. Through this, I can deduce the solution, what part of this repository I need to use. Okay? Capacity building, training, last mile delivery. So these are the issues that I need to examine. Right? So this is going to be the base based on which I will make the arguments. Right? Now, when I come to this particular concept, the idea of welfare schemes, and if you will see the syllabus of GS paper 2, there is a paragraph. Welfare scheme for the vulnerable sections of the population by the center and states and performance of these schemes. But the question is more on the analytical undertones. Is it discriminatory? Is it not? So, to begin with, we will have to think on these concepts, that whether the schemes between the intent and implementation, how much gap is there? And that is where the inadequacy and the discrimination in approach is coming from. We have to do that root cause analysis. Okay, this is the basic idea. Yes, there is a gap. Okay, so I will have to agree that the schemes at times are beneficiary because of the implementation lacunas, not because it was designed discriminatory. And hence, instead of a discriminatory approach, we should have a target orientation in our answer, in our schemes, I beg your pardon. So, while we are doing this, okay, it is important to keep those conceptual rootings with us. I'll tell you when we'll structure this particular answer, because ultimately you will have the knowledge repository with you, but to actually bring it out on paper is important. First, we will have to link the vulnerability and the need for state intervention through these schemes. We will not agree fully with the question statement. Rather, we will have to creatively push the need for a rationalization. How? Through targeting. Okay? We will have to provide the necessity of such initiatives. right? Also, we will have to give examples, okay, throwing light on the positive discrimination which is needed for the vulnerable sections to balance out. We might not fully agree, but at the same time, we will balance it out, making a well-rounded answer. Okay, so we will be talking about how India is a vast land. And in its vast land, in the diversity that we have, there are obviously sections of the society which are partitioned into haves and have-nots. Those who are at a less advantageous position. But India, being a welfare state, needs to provide for their development and upliftment. And hence, it is the responsibility of the state to ensure that. And therefore, the state is bound to initiate interventions to bring about the development, especially for these vulnerable sections. While some might call it discriminatory, but this positive discrimination is essential. While the alternative to this discretionary approach or this discriminatory approach is the targeted approach. It's a far more positive orientation, far more purposeful orientation, targeting certain groups and community. Whereas this positive discrimination, because it carries the word discrimination, has a negative character. But in India, the vulnerables include SCs, STs, OBCs, disabled, women, and they have been at the bottom of the societal structure, in the bottom of the development ladder, that they need that hand holding. And these groups have been historically at a disadvantage. But this discriminatory approach is actually creating a negativity. Rather, we should have specific targets for these sections. Because of the historic, social and economic discrimination, welfare programs for these communities should be targeted, and they should not be between exclude this approach. They should be targeted so that better accountability, better sense of accomplishment, better measurability can prevail. Also, why targeted approach is necessary? Because each of these groups have special needs. Disabled have special needs, children have special needs, women have special needs, tribals have special needs. They are not uniform. So, a one size fits positive discrimination approach might not benefit deep down within these societies. The demand for reservation within the castes is nothing but an outcome of the suboptimum performance of the hitherto followed discriminatory approach. Right? So, these are the analysis that I need to build. Similarly, the economic disparities, they also exist. So therefore, apart from these, you need to provide certain generic base. For example, Pradhan Mantri Awas, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala, as well as because of the social dynamics, you will have to provide certain specific positive discriminatory benefits. Okay, wherein we will talk about the affirmative action. The affirmative action. So, in the introduction, like I said, we will come up with the need for vulnerability which is there, I mean the situation of vulnerability which is there, and the demand for state interventions. How targeted is better than discriminatory, the reasons for it. then we will balance it out that it is not against the idea of welfare if some of the initiatives, some of the state interventions, some of the welfare programs are discriminatory in nature. Why? Because of the special needs, because of the social fabric of the country, because a certain section might be alienated from the mainstream to avoid the fostering of alienation. Okay. Similar will be the reasons why certain schemes are projected as discriminatory, because other people feel alienated that I am not getting benefits, right? So excessive reliance on quotas and reservation may sometimes lead to inefficiencies in the system. We'll have to talk about that as well. Hence, a balanced approach, largely targeted discriminatory where it is needed, is the way forward. Okay, so this is how we will structure the intro, body and conclusion part of it. You can quote the data of National Family Health Survey, right? Census data, enrollment data, other data to support each of these arguments, right? So this is how methodically we have to break down as per a theme. If you will see in this particular question, or rather in this particular answer, I talked about all those things that I wrote as part of the conceptual backbone. The idea of exclusion, inclusion, mechanism, okay, issues, challenges. I talked about them only, took some examples. So this is how we will have to deal with a conceptual question in a particular reality, right? I hope many of you will end up attempting today's exercise. I repeat that there is a pinned question for you to practice in the first comment of this video, right? We'll be discussing today's questions at 7 p.m. today on the Telegram channel, for which the link is there. Refer to the I button for more such videos and exercises which have happened in the past, right? So catch you today evening. Bye-bye. Thank you.